Good afternoon, this is Robin Bieber on the European Midday Roundup and Good Morning America chart talk on the 28th of April at 12 o'clock in the morning London time. The chart in front of us is July Brent's 60-minute, note July Brent, and the unshaded area here to the right is this morning's activity, and we can see that the Brent completed a price cycle down to its target at 22.05 and has now bounced and recovered. The same is true of WTI, which went down to 10.26, its target, and it is recovering. So we're putting in a pretty good recovery, and given the stochastic location here, the odds are that there's probably some more strength to come yet. And if we look at the RBOB 60-minute chart, and this is June RBOB, here you've got the spiky action. It's up, rallying, and there seems to be more meat on the bone of this stochastic, suggesting that we could easily firm some more before running into trouble. And in RBOB's case, probably up to the higher of its short-term moving averages. But let's just take a look at this bit by bit. And first of all, the spreads. Note the spreads on Brent, a good recovery. Up from the 5-day to the 8-day, there's really no serious upside on the July Aug Brent unless it's over 239 and it's tested that 8-day moving average. The same is true of the Aug set, where the 8-day is at 184. It's another story on the structure of WTI front end. June, July, dreadful. Looks like it could easily head lower, and the July August, if it breaks minus 350, is likely to head lower. Now let's move on to the contracts themselves, and WTI hit its target to 10.26 and is now rallying. It's up at 11.81. It only runs into serious resistance at the 5-day moving average at 14.37, and only a move and close over there would suggest that there's some more serious upside, at least to the 8-day at around 16.11. So in other words, the 5-day would give it, over the 5-day would give it a couple of bucks on the upside. And on the July Brent, and again I repeat, July Brent, bounced off its 22.05 area. Its low was 21.92 today, and is running up to the 5-day moving average at 24.02, where the test of this recovery will be felt. And if it gets over there, there's a reasonable chance of another $1.50 up to the 8-day moving average. The stochastic has just flipped positive, so we can take away that down arrow. If we look at heating oil, that's RBOB, so we'll do heating oil first. If we get the heating oil, is the 70.84 is the key. It's printing 70.74. If it can get over this 70.84 level, it will negate targets lower and suggest a run up to the 5-day at around 74.36. Watch that 70.84. It's an important pivot for the rest of the day. And RBOB, it's friskier than the rest, good recovery into the short-term moving averages, and now it's run up through the 5 and 8, the red and the blue line, and is now testing the 13 and the 21-day moving average. The 13's at 71.77, it's got a high of 71.53, and the 21-day is 71.30. So it's important what it does there. And the 34-day is fast descending at 72.34, so it really needs to get over the 34-day to have some serious upside to around the 80 level. Watch the combination of the 13, 21 and 34-day moving averages. They all come in between 71.30, the 21-day, and 72.34, the 34-day. But this is a good spirited recovery, but it's got to stay above the 5 and 8s at 60 down to around 69 to maintain any upside credibility. And gas oil is back over the key support at 188.25, and whilst above there, no further targets south. A move and close below 188.25 would have us probably looking for 185.75 again, and potentially whilst it's over 188.25, we've got the 5-day moving average at around 206 in its target. Not a target, in its aiming point. Now, if we look at the red DEX, TI struggling but holding. Whilst over minus 563, it's holding, but the 60-minute chart is suggesting that this spike may be short-lived. Whereas the red DEC on Brent is also struggling. It's not above 589. It must move above it, 589, and ideally the 5-day moving average at minus 572 area to have any hope of upside. At the moment, it still looks pressured. So the message this morning is that we've hit the targets lower in the crudes. We now need to move up and above the 5-day moving averages on the crudes and the heat for there to be any real upside credibility. At the moment, the market still looks very vulnerable. Watch RBOB, what it does at its short-term moving averages, particularly the 5 and 8s as support, and then the 13, 21 and 34s, which are quite close together, as fairly significant resistance. If RBOB can't get above those 3 moving averages, the 13, 21 and 34, it's going to look a little bit tired when it gets up there. Moves and closes over would probably give us a little bit more of a correction. Front end structure looks wobbly. The back end looks vulnerable. Back end spreads, deck reds, for example, look vulnerable. That's all for today. Good luck, good trading, and bon appetit.